welcome. My name's Marie and this is my yarn journey. It's lovely to be sat down doing a Friday knit chat after I had a week off last week. Got quite a few things to talk to you about, which you can probably see piled at the side of me, and a finished object. So yeah, if you haven't been here before, everything that I talk about will be in the description. I've also got links to my Instagram, my Discord, my wish list on Ravelry, and my Ko-fi account if you would like to support the channel in any way or need any further details. Feel free to reach out to me. I've also got an email address. That's all in the description, as is the names of the patterns that I talk about from my projects. Like I say, I've got quite a bit to talk to you about today, but first of all, I'm going to talk to you about the sweater that I'm wearing, and I can't remember the name of it. So I'm going to check because I want to be able to tell you, and I'm sure it'll be on my Ravelry. So I'll just bring that up. Oh, if you haven't seen, just as a little side note, Florence has a video. If you watch Florence Miller, she's got a video up, which is really nice because she's not done one for a while. Lots of lovely mittens if you like seeing those. So I'm just finding my Ravelry, which I always have open on here. She mentioned actually in that episode a lovely hat by Ysolda Teague, and it is Crown Shy, and it is really beautiful. I'm tempted to do that for my partner because I think that he would really like that, and I probably make the modifications that she mentioned as well. But yeah, let's just have a look on here and see if I can get the name of that pattern. I don't know why I can't remember it. It's this one that I'm wearing. Ah, yeah, Cognac Sweater. And that is by, I can never say this name, Atelier Casting. I'm sure you all know who I'm talking about. But yeah, I did this as part of a knit along. I knit it a bit ago. I used yarn that I got from Woolly Good Gathering. It was the yarn that we got in the goodie bag or the show bag, whatever it was, and then I paired it with the Fiberco Siroc, if that's how you say it, in like a pink shade. Two yarns that I used out of stash, which I wasn't sure what to use them for, and I think both colours looked better. But well, the taupey neutral one definitely looked better paired with this pink. What I would say is that with this sweater, I think it fits me. I'll just move my hair out of the way. I think it fits me pretty well. I think I've got a good size here, and it's not too fitted, but it's not massively oversized, and the sleeves are a good fit. But for some reason with this sweater, and I don't know if it's the yarn combination that I've used, and I do feel like I might have a go at knitting one of these because I really like the neckline. I like the finishings. I might try knitting one in just a DK because, and in a different colour, because the first thing I can say about this is this colour, I'm not sure really suits me. It's not something I'd normally be drawn to, and I find it hard to know what to pair it with. And the other thing is, when I'm wearing this sweater, for some reason, for me, it feels quite scruffy, if that's the right word. I have done a bit of de-pilling this morning, but it was just a quick 5 minutes before I did the school run. And it still probably needs a bit doing on it because it has pilled quite a bit. But I think I may have only de-pilled it once before, and I have worn it quite a bit, considering it's comfortable to wear. I like the fit of it. It feels soft against my skin. It's just those few things. For some reason, for me, it doesn't seem like a smart, polished garment. What do you think? I mean, it's hard to tell, isn't it? And I was using up stash with these yarns, so I didn't really know if the colour would be for me. And I don't think the colour is quite me, but I do seem to get a lot of wear out of it, especially like I wear this quite a bit though at the weekends when I'm just around the house, because it doesn't feel like a sweater that I'm drawn to wear for going out, if you know what I mean. But anyway, that's a lot to say about the cognac sweater. If you've knit it, I'd love to hear your thoughts, what colours you've done it in, all that sort of thing. It would be very, very interesting to hear that. But overall, I think the fit is lovely. And I probably would just do the same size again if I knit it again. And it's just a shame that I don't feel nicer when I'm wearing it, if that makes sense. I'm sure you know what I mean, because sometimes with these things, you don't know until you've knit it, done it and worn it for a while. Which actually, before I talk about my finished object, that does lead me nicely into another sweater, which I want to talk to you about. And I've been meaning to do this for a while now. For some reason today, and I do apologise, but the names aren't coming to me, and there is a YouTuber, and I will actually put a picture on the side of her channel. She lives in Amsterdam. She has dark brown hair, and for the life of me, her name has gone. It's like just out of reach. So anyway, she had put on her Instagram that she had, oh, is it Good Knits? Maybe. Anyway, she put on her Instagram that she had not modified. She had gone back and fixed one of her sweaters. So she had decided on that particular occasion to add short rows in the back section here. So she removed her finishings, undid the bind off, and went back and just put in some short rows to adjust the fit, and that fixed the problem on that sweater for it. It was some sort of blouse, I think. It looked like quite a lightweight sweater. Now, I've been this is the Calm Down sweater, by the way, if you haven't seen it before. This was done in a beautiful 100% cashmere yarn that I got from Ula and Leah in a duck egg colourway, and I absolutely love this yarn. All their yarns I have been very, very impressed with, and I'm hoping that I can do their Kickstarter again this year. But and this should be a lovely cozy warm sweater. I was hopeful that this would be along the same lines as my Paul sweater. Did I say it's a Calm Down sweater by Lily Kate France? Anyways, so I knit this, really love it, think it looks nice. A couple of things, and it does need a depill looking at it now. When I'm wearing it, and I'll probably put in a B-roll at the side here, because what happens when I'm wearing it is, I'll try and demonstrate, it tents at the front here, and it's quite dramatic. I'll have to put a picture in so that you can see, but it tents forward at the front here and hangs off my body and forwards, and I think I needed bust darts. So my question here is, I think I have got a full skein left of this yarn, but I might be remembering wrong. I'll need to dive into my stash and have a look. Do I go back in and add bust darts, and will that resolve the issue that you'll be seeing on screen with this video? I don't know, but it's stopping me wearing this sweater. Now, there was a video that came out, and Good Knits, she managed to find it on her YouTube and send me the link again because I couldn't locate it. But it was a video where someone had actually cut their sweater at the front here, added in a bust dart section, and then grafted it back together. Now, I'd be tempted, if I was going to pull this back, just to unravel it. But I'm going to show you this way. If I put bust darts in, or if I make some fixtures on this sweater, the armholes are very deep. And would they be at the right point if I was putting them here? Because I wouldn't want to, or I wouldn't be able to rip back past the sleeve section, would I? Sorry, it's very hard to show you on camera what I'm talking about, but there isn't much distance between the bottom of the armhole and the bottom of the body. Could I put short rows in at some other point to resolve the issues I'm having? I don't know. I do think that I should, on this occasion, have had bust darts in this sweater. If you've got any other suggestions, though, of ideas of how I can fix this other than unraveling the whole sweater. The other thing is, I do think that I could have done with a bit more extra length on the sleeves. Now, they're not really bad, and I'm not sure it's something I'd want to go back and fix, but definitely the front part of this sweater, it doesn't feel as nice when I'm wearing it. It's not a good fit at the front on me, and it stops me from wearing it, which is a shame when I've got this lovely thick, warm, snuggly sweater that I wanted to be similar to my pole and that I reach to all the time. You know, it's in a very, very nice yarn. I don't want to see it just languishing, as it were, and it's not one that really I would feel comfortable just getting rid of, or even passing on to someone else, really, because, you know, I really, really love this yarn, so I want to fix it. So please help me if you can. Put down in the comments what you would suggest and you would do. To be fair, it might not be something that would bother everybody, but it does bother me, and it stops me picking it up, which is frustrating. Once I've fixed that as well, what I will do is, if I do have any yarn left, I will keep it, and I'll wear it a few more times and see if I do still want to go back in and just add a bit of length to the sleeves, because with this, the sleeves would be quite an easy fix. I could just go back in. I'd probably only have to add probably 5 to 10 rows. It wouldn't be the end of the world. And if it makes this sweater go from a meh to a loved and worn, I'd be really, really happy about that. So yeah, have you ever had to go back and do some major fixes? I mean, I do think with that one, it's the bust darts that I needed. And I have done bust darts recently in one of my sweaters, and I've not tried it on since I did the bust darts. So we shall see if that makes a difference on the fit of that one. I mean, I've not got bust darts in this one, and this is a lovely fit, but I suppose it depends on the yarn you're using. This sweater has ended up being quite a thicker fabric, so maybe that's got something to do with the fact that it's holding its shape and not draping. Probably would have been fine if it had been a bit of alpaca in there. So next I'm going to move on to my one and only finished object, which is these beautiful mittens. I am absolutely in love with how these have turned out. This is, I think it's called the slip stitch mittens, or maybe it's something else, but oh no, it's not. It's the Chantel Mittens, I've just remembered. And this is in a fabulous yarn by My Creative Garage, and it was her Bengali colourway from a couple of years ago. I'll pop these on so that you can see. Loved this pattern. I knit these 2 at a time, so that's the only change that I made. I feel like this is I have done a couple of pairs of mittens before, and they haven't always turned out the greatest fit on me. and this is a Morka Knits pattern. Now, I knit the cuffs quite a while ago on this pattern. I have made a few mistakes here and there, so ignore that if you can see that on camera. Don't they fit lovely? And this yarn, I want to say, has softened up fabulously once I blocked it. But yeah, it's a Morka Knits pattern, which I absolutely adore my pole sweater. So everything I've knit by Morka Knits so far, the two things have been brilliant. I decided to do them two at a time. Did the cuffs a while ago, and to my surprise, because you know, you see all these videos, don't you, on YouTube, people knitting like standard mittens, thinking especially of Laura Penrose, and they're just done instantly, or like a fingerless mitt, dead quick. Now, these are done fingering weight. A lot of mittens are DK, so that does make a difference. But I didn't even think when I started these that, oh, it's a slip stitch pattern, so you know it's definitely going to take longer because you're slipping some stitches rather than knitting them. So the cuff took me quite a while, and the yarn management was quite difficult, so it kind of put me off. So I got to that point, and then they did go into the resting whip pile. And then I just had the urge, not this last weekend, but the weekend before, just after I had recorded, to pick them up again. And I'm really glad I did. The only thing that I wish I'd done is I wish I'd done the thumb a little bit longer, because, and I've just noticed a janky stitch there. Anyways, yeah, I wish I'd done the thumb a little bit longer because it's not quite, it's snug. It's fine. And they do fit me nice. They're very, very soft. I've worn them once. I didn't really want to wear them, but I will do now, because the thing, what I do like about these is that I did the medium in this pattern. And I was a little bit concerned when I first started knitting them, and they have given a little bit since I blocked them. But if you can see, this is very snug. But I tell you what, I'm so glad it is, because it means that it fits under my coat, or look, I can pull my sweater over the top, and it's really, really warm for a fingering weight. And I know it's going to be warmer because you're doing the slip stitches, so you're making a thicker fabric. They are shaped as well, by the way, because I had a few issues. Now, they would have been done a bit quicker, but I was really good, and I was quite proud of myself, because so I was knitting them two at a time, and I glanced at the pattern, read it wrong, and on one of the thumbs, I think you can actually tell, not as much now, but it did adjust the stitch pattern. So basically it just shows you that my magic loop knitting tension and my 9-inch circular tension is vastly different, which I was very, very surprised at how different, so different that the slip stitch pattern looked different. But that has all evened out pretty much with blocking. But as I was saying, I was doing them two at a time. I came to the part where I was doing the increases for the thumb, and I read the pattern wrong, and instead of increasing before the marker on one of the mittens, I was increasing after, which, as I was knitting it, I thought, this looks weird. And then when I got to the end of it, I realised what I'd done and I'd misread it. So I took one mitten off the needles. Thankfully, it was the first one on the needles, so I could easily do that. Put them onto a 9-inch circular, which was the only needle I had available in the right size. Ripped it all the way back to where I started the increases, so quite a big chunk, about a third of the mitten, and then I re-knit it and did it right. And I could have easily not done that, but it probably would have, yeah, it wouldn't have worked anyway, would it? But I was just proud of myself for not putting it away, not stopping, just thinking, right, let's get this done. And then I transferred it back onto the magic loop and then finished it all. But yeah, I will definitely knit these mittens again. And I'm thinking it will be a good way to use up some of my stash and make gifts maybe for next Christmas. I will try out a few other mitten patterns, but what was great about this pattern is I used almost a full skein, and I think, yeah, oh, just getting this out. This is all I've got left. I've not weighed it. I've just stuck it down there because I thought that I will keep it and put it in my blanket because I like the colourway so much. But that's all I had left out of 100 grams. So I'm pretty pleased with that. It's a really good way to use up 100 grams of fingering weight. And if I did them again, I'd do it exactly the same way. I would knit them. I've got these to go by for sizing, and I would just knit the thumb a bit longer. Obviously, if I was doing a men's pair of these, I'd have to do one of the larger sizes, and maybe I wouldn't have enough then with a fingering weight, but I could probably adjust the cuff, because I bet in a man's mitten they may not want to cuff quite as long as I've done here. So if I did that much off, maybe I'd have to do an experiment with that. But yeah, I'm really pleased to have them finished, and I really enjoyed knitting them. Highly recommend the pattern. So if you want something a bit different, that's just, you know, quite a pair of mittens but with a bit of intrigue, I'd suggest that one by PetiteKnit. And next I'm going to talk about, not got much to say, it's my scarf for my partner. And where is my thing? Now, I said to you in the last video, I'm going to knit on this every time I'm editing. And I did knit on it. Not the last time I did the video. I think I was knitting on these when I was editing. But I did knit on it the time before, and I just forgot to show this last time, is what I'm trying to say. And yeah, it's still not really that long. I've only done that much knitting. I don't know what I'm going to do with this, because I feel like it's never going to get done. It's just, you know, on and on and on. And that's a lovely, lovely, luxurious yarn with, I can't even remember the blends of it now, for the love of yarn. I really just want to get that finished, but every time I knit on it, nothing seems to happen. I'm knitting it, and I get bored. So it will get done eventually, but it's just not really a priority right now. As you know, I am trying to get my advertisements done in the mornings. Now, last week, and I wasn't as, this last week I haven't been as good as I was. Let me just check my, I have been keeping a little note, because I've been, since the start of the year, I've been doing a little habit tracker. It's something I saw on YouTube and thought it was a great idea. And I've been keeping a note of when I've worked on this blanket. So since the 5th of January, which is probably when I started this book, I have only missed I've missed 4 days. So, but I have done some extra at the weekend sometimes to compensate for that. I have joined in a new colour. So I am now working through clue 8, and there is 12 clues altogether. The clues are quite big. I think that with this one, as I've told you before, this is a pattern by Expression Fibre Arts, and it was a mystery knit. That's long past. I think it might have been 2023. I was quite good up until about the 6-month mark, and I was working on the clues, but since then it's been very few and far between that I've worked on it, and I really would like to get it finished this year. So I've been using it as my morning knitting, and I get 2 rows done. And yeah, I've managed to add in the next colour, which is what I did after recording the last video. That first weekend, I actually sat and made sure I got through a load at the weekend and got to the next colour. and the next clue. So yeah, now I'm on clue 8. I did enjoy getting back into it, but then I get bored very quickly, which is really frustrating, and I haven't worked on it for a couple of mornings now. So I do want to get back to doing that, because what I find when I'm having my morning brew as well is the ideal time for me to do that. And that's also when I've done it at the weekend and managed to knit a lot more, because I feel like I need to be in quite quiet. So I get my morning brew and I just bring up the pattern and then just focus on doing the 2 rows. I'm just thinking which to talk to you about next, because I've got 2 more projects to talk about. So yeah, we will do this one, because the one I've made the most progress on this last week is this one. So I know you've seen these bags before from my creative garage, and this is my November jacket. Since you've last seen it, I have made quite a bit of progress. This is Sanders Garn Peer Gint. The colour number is 6324. It's like a mild blue, and still got my Christmas needle stoppers on here. They were the ones that I got in the Cosy Crab. Did I get in the Cosy Crab box? I think so. Can't remember now. Anyways, let me see if I can get this to a point where I can show you, because what I have done, and it's what I'm sure a lot of you do this as well, is rather than putting my knitting on hold onto a scrap yarn, I just have a long cable and I keep it all on the same needle. Sometimes that takes a bit of management, but normally it's pretty good. And then when you get to joining in the round, it's just all there on the same cable and much easier. So yeah, I've finished this front panel here, and I think I was working on that last time. You do knit your edging, your double knit button band at the same time, which I think is fantastic. And because you're doing brioche, I think that enables you to be able to do that, because both of them are double thickness. Both of them are slip stitches. You can see the pattern a bit better on the back here. I'm not sure my join is very good where I've picked up stitches, but it's on the back of the neck. You're not really going to see that. And I'm just now working on the second front, which is quite a bit shorter, and I need to knit that to 33 centimeters. Now, what I am noticing with this is I love knitting on it now. When there's no increases or decreases, I'm finding that the brioche pattern is very easy to do, but it's hard on my hands. Now I'm knitting this, I think, on a 4.5 millimeter needle, and I got gauge or thereabouts with that needle size. I think that's a size up from what the pattern calls for. I enjoy knitting it for a while when I'm knitting on it, but then my hands start to ache a bit, and I do get a flow, but something about that needle size and that yarn doesn't agree with my hands. So sometimes I knit on it and I realise I've been knitting on it a bit too long, and I have to force myself to put it away. And that's what I did at the weekend. I'd knit on it for a bit, and obviously because it is brioche, it takes a lot longer to make the progress that you would normally make. If I was knitting on 4.5 millimeter needles and just knitting a stockinette project, it would probably be done by now, or you know, I'd be a good chunk of the way through. But yeah, with that November jacket, it's a case of I really want the finished object. I do enjoy it when I'm knitting on it for a certain while, and then it feels as though I'm knitting a lot and not seeing a lot of progress, which I suppose is the nature of knitting a brioche thing. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to that being finished. The actual pattern is very easy. I think it's a good introduction to knitting brioche. If you're a confident knitter and you've not done brioche before, I would imagine that that would be quite a good place to start, although you probably need to do something a bit smaller. But yeah, I'd highly recommend the pattern. PetiteKnit patterns are very bare bones, I like to say. They have what you need and nothing more. But there generally is video tutorials if you get stuck. When I was doing my swatch for that, I actually watched a brioche tutorial by Stephen West, and I also then watched his tutorial for doing the increase, and I found it very, very good. So I'd highly recommend that if you want a good brioche tutorial, you watch Stephen West, because I was able to do it much better. And like I say, I have tried it before and I found it quite difficult to distinguish between the yarn overs and the things. And the way that Stephen West explained it in his video, just it clicked with me. And then obviously now it just kind of feels like rib to me. It becomes that way, which is nice, engaging, but not too stressful. And this is my last project now, which again is in another My Creative Garage bag. And this is the Kutik sweater, and it's by a Ukrainian designer. And I will put her name on the screen because I can't pronounce it. And this has been a very, for a stockinette project, this has been an extremely engaging knit until I got to the body, obviously. I've made a lot of progress since I last showed you, so I'll just hold it up. This is an Ula and Leah yarn. It's a fingering weight, I think, and it is a blend of wool and cashmere. So it is, let me just check, 85% wool and 15% cashmere. Quite a soft but sturdy feeling yarn. I don't know what the wool is that's in it, but I do know that all their yarn comes from Mongolia. So yeah, it feels nice enough, and I'll be interested because I know that with a lot of the Ula and Leah yarns, they do have quite a bit of spinning oils on them, and they do soften up quite a bit once you block them. Now, yeah, this is I think it's a saddle shoulder you call it. I always get mixed up with the construction names, but it is, every little detail is thought out with this. It's a row by row, and there's a charted version of the increases and decreases, and then so I really enjoyed the shaping with the arms and everything like that. Just followed it step by step, slowly, and concentrating on each row. It did take a bit of concentration. Then I got to the body, and I've been working my way through that and just picked it up when my hands were getting a bit sore from the November jacket. And then the other day I decided I would do the neckline. Now, this is a Ukrainian designer's pattern. Her first language is obviously not English, and she has had the pattern translated into English. You can tell that some of it is, it's a little bit difficult to understand. It's not for a beginner, I would say. Definitely need to be an intermediate knitter. I found some of it a little bit difficult. It's a very information heavy, full pattern, lots of information. Sometimes I've realized that she does like a description of what you're going to be doing, then she does the row by row instructions, which sometimes I missed. But you can do each size on 3 different gauges, which is fantastic. And then once you've picked your size, you click on that and it brings up a separate document for your size, and I'm doing size 2. Yeah, it's very detailed pattern. Now, the neckline I've done here is not quite to what she has done it. Now, the neckline I found extremely difficult to do. In the pattern, in my opinion, and this might be a language barrier, but the neckline is not, for me, for a more experienced knitter, it might be easier to understand, but I found it quite difficult to understand. Now, the video is pretty good at explaining how to do it all, but what I could have done with is how can I explain this? So the pattern, all the pattern is very, very full of information, all that sorts of things. And then in comparison to that, the neckline instructions are quite short. But then there is a video. Now the video is great. Without that video, I don't think I'd have been able to do this neckline. And still this neckline isn't quite how it is in the instructions. Now, bearing in mind the video is not in English and the translations on YouTube were terrible. Yeah, some of it, the words that was being said, I have no idea what she was meaning, if that is what she was saying, because it was very hard to understand. Most of it I was fine from the visual, but in between, when she was actually doing the neckline and she was explaining quite a lot of stuff that was, you couldn't always understand it because of the translation was wrong. And yeah, so you pick up, there's a lot of detail in this. The way you pick it up, then you do a welt at the back, and you know, I know that every little detail in this would make it better. It's a double folded. You use a crochet hook to pick up, and then you do a chain across the top for the fold. And yeah, I maybe should have done it slightly thicker, I don't know, but the bit that I did not follow was the instructions for attaching it on the neckline on the other side for the double fold. You're supposed to do a crochet chain across the front of the fabric, and I just couldn't seem to get that to work, so I decided just to sew mine down, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't know if I've quite got it, and I'm hoping that I can, when I block it and pin it out, hopefully I can resolve the issue with the neckline. It's not an issue as such, but it's just that I don't think that my chain of stitches is quite on top, even though I was trying to meticulously keep it folded over when I did sew it down. But overall, I think it looks very, very neat. Like I say, blocking will probably help. And I still think with this line going across the front here, it still looks really pretty and quite polished. That's what drew me to this garment in the first place, is that I wanted something that looked a bit smarter, and I thought this was it. This one has got lots of short rows all round to get a really good fit. I was really pleased when I tried it on just after I joined under the arms, that the fit across the top of my chest was really good. And I have done horizontal bust darts in the front of this, so I've not tried it on since I've done them or since I've done the neckline, so that will be the next thing for me to do. But I have picked up a sleeve here, so I've paused on the body for the moment. I have picked up the sleeve. Took me a little bit of time again because the sleeve was, and you don't need much information when doing a sleeve, but it was a little bit, am I understanding what she wants right, because of the language barrier. Figured it out now, and realised again that that was one of the sections, that the row by row instructions were on the next page and I should have just moved forward. And yeah, once I've finished all the decreases on the sleeve, I am then going to try this on again. So that'll probably be done this weekend, I would have thought, and see what it's like. So I'm hoping that it's going to be a lovely, lovely fit. Really pleased with the neckline. Took a bit of work, but I'm happy with it. And yeah, I just can't wait to see. I think I'm hoping as well. Looking at it now, it looks a little bit, I don't know if you can see that on camera, but my tension looks a little bit uneven because I do normally have quite good tension. But hopefully, again, that's just another thing that will block out. And it normally does. Your stitches normally even up even more once they are blocked. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see. When I was watching the video as well, what I do want to say about the neckline is what made it quite confusing, and I wish she had two separate videos, is that the neck part of the instructions, the neckline that she was doing was a ribbed neckline, which made it a bit harder to understand at times. I wish she'd done a separate video, one for the neckline on this, and which was the stockinette, and then one neck for the rib neckline, because the rib neckline wasn't a folded over neckline either, so would have been easier to do. And maybe it would help to have someone English doing a video tutorial for it. I don't know how many English people she gets purchasing her patterns. Anyways, yeah, overall, I'm very, very pleased. I can't wait to try it on. I was very pleased with the fit last time I tried it on, and I think it's a lovely, lovely colour. Being fingering weight, it's a bit more of a lighter weight fabric, which will be nice as the weather starts to warm up. So I'm itching again to have this finished as well. Like I said, I got to the point where I was doing the body, and I do get a bit bored with that. But because I was doing the November jacket, and then I was just picking this up of the evenings when I was watching something on TV, when I needed a bit of a rest from that project, I've managed to get quite a bit done under the underarm without it seeming too thingy. If you've been here for some time, you'll know that I really enjoy knitting summer tops, which surprises me, but I just like the fact that they're super lightweight, floaty. I like the fit on me more often than not, and I think that having them off the needles is quite a good thing, because I can do a summer top quite quickly. But that being said, I did think that I needed a similar vibe, but longer sleeves, slightly warmer, more of a transition, because I've got quite a few sweaters now that are the heavier, thicker sweaters, and yeah, need some in between pieces really. But I'm yeah, really pleased with this, loving the colour. And that's it. That's all I've got to say about it, really. Now there's just one last thing. Well, no, there's two things actually that I want to talk about. I'll just mention really briefly for any of you book lovers out there. And I think I mentioned I was listening to it last time, which is, oh, I can't check. It was a V.E. Schwab book, and I will put the cover up on the side. It's an audiobook I was listening to. And what was it called? Really having one of them days, aren't I, where names are going. Anyway, Bury My Bones in the Midnight Soil was the name of the audiobook, and I thoroughly enjoyed that. I would highly recommend it. I am definitely going to be listening to more of V.E. Schwab's books. It was really unexpected, quite atmospheric, really interesting to follow the different storylines in it, with, you know, overall a love story with magic and nothing I say can explain the book. And even if I say it's vampires, it doesn't explain it. I don't really want to give too much away, but I would say if you like fantasy books, you like historical fiction, I definitely recommend you give that a listen to. I'm also on the last book in the BK Borison Lovelight Farms series, and this is the last one. I've read them back to back, which is what I actually prefer to do with series normally, so that you can follow the storyline. But What's happened in these books is they're moving along in the timeline, but each book is a different couple or different romance story. And I'm just getting to the point now with this final book where I'd highly recommend you read these. They're fantastic. I really like the way that they're written and enjoy the way that BK Borison writes her books. I'm getting to the point now where I'm ready for a change of pace. So it'll be nice to read something different. And then the last thing that I want to mention, and this, if you've watched my podcast before, you've probably seen these. These are from Diane at Utree Yarn Craft. I got these in a Christmas Eve box, not last year, but the year before, I think it was. And I've got these to knit a pair of socks. And I don't know if you've seen, but Yarn and Glitter and Cozy Crab are doing another sock knit along, and this is one that I've had ready to do a pair of socks for absolutely ages. I'll put a picture up of the socks that I'm doing. I'm going to do them 2 at a time again because I've been enjoying that. I find that I get through the pair of socks quicker and they're done at the end. And yeah, I'm looking forward to finally getting this festive pair of socks knit up. And that is February. So there's lots of prizes. Again, I was lucky enough to win a skein of yarn last time, and I have knit that into a pair of socks. And I'm actually really looking forward. I was going to pick out 2 pairs of socks to do. I was going to do another pair that I'd got some Lay Family yarn for, but I thought I'm not going to put any pressure on myself because I am wanting to get a lot of things finished. So hopefully once I have got this sweater off the needles and got into February, I'm hoping that I can start pulling out some of my whips and get them finished. The Daft Days cardigan is high on the list. I really keep saying I'm going to do it, and then I don't get around to it. As you know, I'm trying to get this finished, but that's going to be a longer time thing. But yeah, I would like to get a load of things finished, and then I can go into March with much clearer needles. They won't be clear, they never are with me, are they? And I like to have a few projects to work on. But yeah, because I've been eyeing up doing the sea glass tea to use up some of my leftovers and scraps. It's one thing I fancied. I think there was something else. Oh, I did see a beautiful cardigan on Instagram today, and this certain designer, and I can't remember her name, but I've been eyeing up a few of her bright pops of colour cardigans or sweaters, and this one caught my eye, so that might be something in my future, but who knows. I just thought I'd show you that it's just been released, I think, recently. And yeah, it was a pretty packed episode this week, wasn't it? Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you've had a lovely couple of weeks, plenty of self-care and hobby craft time, whatever you're into. Thank you very, very much for watching. I do appreciate you coming back week after week and watching my knitty rambles. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Bye.